The year is 1950. The world is still recovering from the devastation of World War II. Cities lie in ruins, economies are shattered, millions are dead. Yet amidst the rubble there is a sense of hope. The war is over, and a new era is beginning. In the West, the United States emerges as a superpower. It ushers in an era of prosperity and technological advancement. The Marshall Plan, launched in 1948, is in full swing. This ambitious program provides billions of dollars in aid to war-torn European nations. It helps to rebuild infrastructure, restart industries, and foster economic growth. However, a new conflict is brewing. The Cold War, a geopolitical rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union, dominates the international stage. This war is fought not on traditional battlefields but in the realms of ideology, espionage, and proxy conflicts. It casts a long and ominous shadow over the world. The specter of nuclear war hangs heavy in the air. The Soviet Union successfully tests its first atomic bomb in 1949, shattering the United States' monopoly on nuclear weapons. This development intensifies anxieties and fuels a global arms race. The Korean War, a brutal and bloody conflict, erupts in June 1950. This war becomes a microcosm of the larger Cold War struggle. It pits the communist North Korea, supported by the Soviet Union and China, against the US-backed South Korea. On June 25, 1950, North Korean forces, armed with Soviet weaponry, launch a surprise invasion across the 38th parallel, the line dividing North and South Korea. The invasion takes the world by surprise and triggers a swift international response. The United States, fearing the spread of communism, commits troops to defend South Korea under the banner of the United Nations. The conflict quickly escalates into a full-blown war, drawing in forces from multiple nations. The Korean War is characterized by its ferocity, its massive human cost, and the use of increasingly destructive weaponry. The conflict results in millions of casualties, both military and civilian. It leaves the Korean Peninsula devastated. The Cold War intensifies in 1950, fueled by the ongoing conflict in Korea and the growing nuclear capabilities of both superpowers. The development of the hydrogen bomb, a weapon far more powerful than the atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, heightens global anxieties. In the United States, a wave of anti-communist paranoia, known as McCarthyism, sweeps the nation. Senator Joseph McCarthy, a Republican from Wisconsin, spearheads this campaign. He makes unsubstantiated accusations of communist infiltration in the government, the military, and even Hollywood. McCarthy's tactics, which include public smear campaigns, intimidation, and baseless accusations, create a climate of fear and suspicion. The Red Scare leads to the blacklisting of suspected communists and their sympathizers, destroying careers and ruining lives. The trial of 14 Communist Party leaders under the Smith Act of 1940 exemplifies the anti-communist fervor gripping the nation. The Smith Act, which criminalized advocating the overthrow of the U.S. government, is used to silence dissent and suppress political opposition. While the Cold War casts a long shadow, a wave of consumerism sweeps through the United States and other Western nations in the post-war era. The baby boom, a period of unprecedented population growth following World War II, contributes to this economic expansion. With the return of peace and prosperity, families grow, and consumer spending surges. New homes, appliances, and automobiles become symbols of the American dream. Advertising flourishes, promoting an idealized vision of suburban life and urging consumers to buy more. The rise of mass media, particularly television, further fuels this consumer culture. Television becomes the dominant form of entertainment and a powerful tool for advertising. It helps to create a shared national identity and shape consumer desires. This period of economic growth and consumerism is not without its challenges. The gap between rich and poor widens. Suburban sprawl contributes to racial segregation and environmental concerns. Amidst the prosperity and social conformity of the 1950s, the seeds of social change are sown. The Civil Rights Movement, a struggle for racial equality and justice for African Americans, begins to gain momentum. The landmark Supreme Court case Brown v. Board of Education, decided in 1954, declares state-sponsored segregation in public schools unconstitutional. This ruling marks a significant victory for the civil rights movement and sets the stage for further legal challenges to Jim Crow laws. However, resistance to desegregation is fierce, particularly in the American South. The Montgomery bus boycott, sparked by Rosa Parks's refusal to give up her seat on a segregated bus in 1955, demonstrates the growing power of nonviolent resistance. The civil rights movement faces an uphill battle against deeply entrenched racism and discrimination. However, the courage and determination of activists like Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks and countless others lay the groundwork for future progress. Section 6. Cultural Milestones, From Peanuts to Silly Putty. The year 1950 is also marked by significant cultural milestones. In the realm of popular culture, Charles Schulz introduces the world to the beloved Peanuts comic strip, featuring the iconic characters Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and Lucy. This whimsical and heartwarming comic strip quickly captures the hearts of readers worldwide, offering insightful observations on life, friendship, and the human condition. Peanuts becomes a cultural phenomenon, spawning animated specials, merchandise, and a legacy that endures to this day. On a lighter note, 1950 also sees the debut of Silly Putty, a peculiar but oddly satisfying toy that captures the imaginations of children and adults alike. This stretchy, bouncy substance quickly becomes a bestseller, demonstrating the power of novelty and the enduring appeal of simple pleasures. The worlds of music and film also experienced significant shifts in 1950. The rise of rock and roll music, with its rebellious spirit and infectious energy, begins to challenge the established order. Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry, and Little Richard emerge as pioneers of this new genre, captivating audiences with their electrifying performances and paving the way for a musical revolution. Section 7. The East Awakens, China's Communist Revolution and Asian Decolonization. In Asia, 1950 marks a turning point in history with the formal establishment of the People's Republic of China on October 1st. This event follows the victory of Mao Zedong's communist forces in the Chinese Civil War, ending centuries of imperial rule and ushering in a new era for the world's most populous nation. The Communist Revolution in China has profound global ramifications, shifting the balance of power in Asia and intensifying Cold War tensions. China's emergence as a communist power has a ripple effect across the region, emboldening communist movements in other countries. The post-US World War II era also witnesses a wave of decolonization sweeping through Asia. India, Pakistan, Burma, Ceylon, Sri Lanka, and Indonesia all gain independence from European colonial powers. This momentous shift reshapes the political landscape of Asia and marks a turning point in world history. Section 8. Winds of Change Across Africa. The seeds of independence are sown. While Asia experiences a wave of decolonization in the immediate aftermath of World War II, the struggle for independence in Africa gains momentum in the 1950s. The seeds of liberation are sown, and movements for self-determination begin to take root across the continent. In 1951, Libya gains independence from Italy, followed by Sudan in 1956, and Ghana in 1957. These early victories inspire liberation movements in other African nations, fueling the fight against colonial rule. The road to independence in Africa is long and arduous, marked by both peaceful protests and armed struggle. However, the tide is turning and the demand for self-determination becomes an unstoppable force. Section 9, 1950, a year etched in history. The year 1950 stands as a pivotal moment in history, a year that profoundly shapes the course of the 20th century. It is a year of both recovery and division, of technological advancement and ideological conflict, of cultural milestones and social upheaval. The Korean War, a brutal and costly conflict, highlights the dangers of Cold War tensions and the ever-present threat of nuclear war. The rise of McCarthyism in the United States demonstrates the fragility of civil liberties in times of fear and paranoia. However, amidst the challenges, there are also signs of hope and progress. The civil rights movement begins its long and arduous journey toward equality, and the seeds of decolonization are sown in Asia and Africa. The year 1950 leaves an indelible mark on the world. Its legacies continue to shape the geopolitical landscape, social movements, and cultural norms of the 21st century. It serves as a reminder of the interconnectedness of global events and the enduring power of human resilience, creativity, and the pursuit of a more just and equitable world.